Well, happy Sunday, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I need a sight and a sound check, please. Hello, Mike. Thomas, thank you very much. Olga, Chris, welcome, everyone. Um, I will start off by apologizing. I have a very nasty cold that I am attempting to fight off. If I sneeze and can't get to the microphone quickly enough, I do apologize. And if I cough or sound distant or anything like that, I do apologize as well. But we're going to make this through, and we're going to have a good time tonight, and we're going to prepare for the week ahead. We're going to be looking. My name is Steve Reister. I am the moderator for the Top Gun Trading Room. We focus on day trading and very short-term trading in Room 3. And if you want to check us out, I have a blog that I posted again. And let's get started. Start off with a disclaimer. It's for educational purposes only. My opinions are myself. They're not intended to be financial advice or recommendations. Just either trade ideas or things for you to think about. And you could lose money. I'd like to invite anybody who's want to come out here and check out the Top Gun Trading Room. We start at 9:15 with a market overview. Well, actually, we'll probably start the night before with a blog, and the blog is available to everyone. And at 9:15, members come onto the room in Room 3, and we go over the markets and individual stocks, trade ideas, and any ideas that or stocks that they want me to look at for them. A little bit of background on myself. If you don't know me, I'm an ex-U.S. Air Force fighter pilot. I have bachelor's degrees in both computers and business. I've been an active trader since the late 90s. Back when you could throw a dart at a list of stocks and make money. Full-time trader since 2009. I am a technical trader, but I do use some limited fundamentals. And as I said before, I moderate the Top Gun Day Trading Room, and I provide one-on-one mentoring for those who are so inclined. We're going to go over the economic calendar, earnings calendar, market overview, trade ideas, some Q&A non-specific, and time permitting, and look at your stocks. There may not be able, I need to run out of here probably around 9 o'clock. So if we have any time, will I still fly privately? Nosy, I don't. I just have way too much fun in the markets and playing golf. So a lot of it, it's kind of like asking a ex-Formula One race car driver if they enjoy driving sedan around the street. And when people ask me if, excuse me, whether why I didn't go into the airlines when I came out of the service, it was like going to a Formula One race car driver asking if I wanted to drive a bus. So it's just a lot of fun. Oh dear. I hate to see people fall apart, Gwen. That's not a lot of fun. All right, economic reports for the coming week. There's nothing, absolutely zilcho on Monday. Tuesday, we only have the JOLTS. Wednesday, CPI and the petroleum report. We do quite well trading our petroleum report. We trade the futures, and we try to get ourselves between $100 to $150 trade profit on those. We do a very high batting average, probably around somewhere between 66 and 75%. Jobless claims, PPI, retail sales, business inventories, all on Thursday, and then we get into hot and heavy on Friday the 15th. With the Empire State import prices both at 8:30, 9:15, we have the industrial production and consumer sentiment after the market opens at 10 a.m. Earnings calendar, I've shortened this up a bit. These are just the notable notables, and you can check it out. And I use criteria of between and about $10,000 because I don't want to eliminate the expensive ones. But I may or may not trade them. But obviously, I use options on that. I do want average daily volume, either 745 or 875,000, depending upon how many stocks I've got that show up on the list. We're starting to thin out a little bit, so I've kind of lowered the volumes, so I still have some stocks. I love trading earnings. Sometimes I'll trade ahead of earnings overnight. I'll play the volatility crush between buying near the close and selling somewhat in the first 15 to 30 minutes. And I can go over some of those that we have done lately. And average true range, I want it to move. I want it to be about 50% or no. That's on the 15th next week. The shutdown updates here, but the other shutdown is that they have to have something done by. Do I have my technique in folders for ER? Chris, I think if you, I posted above how I trade gaps. So as far as the ones about trading earnings after release, there's a video on that. I'm still refining yet again my earnings where I do the volatility crush. Yeah, and if you look at it above, if you can't find it, give me a shout towards the end of the. I have a place where I'm going to have people asking non-stock specific questions, and if you haven't found it by then, go ahead and pop it, and I'll go ahead and find it again. Stick around to the end. I have a special offer for everyone here. So stick around to the end. There's only 10 slides here, but about another 30 minutes, and I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. All right, the earnings calendar we talked about. Let's go to the market overview. Let's minimize this puppy right now. All right, we're looking at the crude oil. I always start off with the crude and the gold. If I want to go look at the longer term here on crude, we were up in the 70s, and we came down and we came crashing down. Now we're probably time to stabilize here. We're doing somewhat. I thought we were doing a cup and handle. We were going to go higher. It just looks like we're now just kind of meandering along here. Between about 52 and 55 and a half. If we break below 50, obviously that'll not be a good sign for the bulls. And if we break over this 55 and a half, that'll be a sign that we're probably going back to the high 50s, low 60s. All right, now let's look at gold. I am going to set time frame. 2 years, weekly. Okay, on the weekly chart, we were up around 13.5 to 1360. We came all the way down to below 1200, tagged 1160, but really the 1200 level. Then we changed. I have been in and out of gold since about the 1240 level. I'm currently out. I still think we're going to ride this up to probably 1340 to 1350. If I look at the volume and price, that was at 13 and a quarter. The way I'm trading this, holding on, is via options on gold, GLD. And I think we'll get back up into this 127, 126 area. But that's not a short-term trade. It's a strategic core trade for me. So you'll see that I trade all kinds of time frames. I start with a good daily chart, and even the day trades I am not going to hold overnight. I want to make sure I have a good trend on the daily. All right, let's go look at the S&P. We're down just a little bit, but this is way too early. Sunday night's not a good indicator unless we gap way up or down. We did a hammer on Friday. The blog, if you check them out, we've been calling for 2,700 to 2,675 for a number of days now on the pullback. Looks like we're trying to hold that level. The bulls are trying to hold. As long as they hold that, I think the bullish trend is still there. Stochastics RSI is one I use to judge momentum. It is secondary to price action. And you'll see all of these levels that I've got marked. We do tend to go from level to level to level. And you notice how we came up to the levels here, pulled back, moved up to the next level, went sideways for a bit, moved up to the next level, went sideways for a bit, went up, pulled back then. They go in waves from level to level. And once the trend gets established, it tends to stay there for quite some time. That's the way I look at it on the markets. Let's look at the Dow. It's going to be very similar to the S&P. We're going sideways. We did kind of this hammer. What is that? That's right, pretty much on the 200 period moving average, daily average. I don't hold a whole lot of credence in it. I do track it because some do. I just look at price. NASDAQ pulled back a little sharper than the rest. Stochastics RSI is still like the rest in the pullback mode. As long as we maintain over 6,800 or so, I think we're probably okay here. Russell's actually acted a little bit better than the other indices here lately, and we're let's see, go back to the NASDAQ. Actually, the NASDAQ got back up to our December highs, whereas if you see here for the S&P, we could not do that and did not do that for the Dow nor the Russell. All right, but we did have a deeper pullback on the NASDAQ. We don't nearly have as much room to the upside. You'll see here I have my volume at price on these, and I use these to help also determine where I believe the price will actually move to and where we'll have resistance. I go over the VIX. I go over all of these every morning at 9:15 very quickly. The VIX is down here at a more historical number, below 17. So the 20-year average on the VIX is approximately 17. So we're at normal. This 36 was abnormal. The below 10s that we had for the number of years during the rally, that was abnormal as well. All right, I will not go over the SPY, the Q, the IWM, and GLD because I have them marked up. I'll show you right here. There's a lot of levels here, and I've got them marked up for day trades, so it might get a little bit busy if we looked at those. All right, let's look at the trade ideas. All right, I am going to show some trade ideas that I have, things that I'm looking at. And I'm a big proponent of what's called a J-hook. And a J-hook, what it looks like is sharp move up, pull back, Fibonacci 50% or so, or maybe a little bit less, and then a move up, retest this next high, that last swing high, and that's usually where my target one is. Take a little off the table, and then I'm playing with house money. So I do like ARWR over 15 and a quarter, now probably 16, and this is a big void from about 20 down to 16. There is a 17 and a half level over here to the left. I'm not sure that that's going to be much of a factor, so I'll be watching for this. It's a biotech stock. It doesn't report earnings until May, but it may have some FDA announcements in the interim. So I strongly suggest before getting into any trade, you check earnings, and for any drug stocks or whatever, find out if they have any FDA news pending. And of course, biotechs and drug stocks are not for the faint of heart. Speculative money only. Baxter Medical Instruments, we've had a couple of these that were been doing quite well, and including Stryker. This one moved up to the 73.85 level and pulled back. I think it wants to go back up there and retest that. The stochastics RSI's pulled back. I'm going to watch that. That would be an option trade, probably over a swing trade more than a day trade, but I'd always be willing to do either one. A lot of times I will get into a number of shares, like 400, 600, 800 shares, and then maybe either swap out for options near the end of the day or hang on to some stocks, shares of the stock at the end of the day for a swing. EFX, I'm watching to see if it gets over this 108.60 level, and there's a gap up to about 115 or so, and that would be the quick and easy. I'll say the second target is around 118.5, and the ultimate target is about 124, 125. We talked about gold. We do pullbacks. We did a pullback here. It looks like we're trying to go back up higher to the 125.5. Lulu, I'm looking for the breakout over the 152 level to go to 163.5. That would be a swing trade. It doesn't report until March the 26th. Let's see, are any of them right? MasterCard, watching for the breakout over 216.5. And we're really talking about 224.50 here. Let me mark that up. And I set alerts and let the system help me. I figure you probably got about $8 in this one. I'd probably use options with the stop below about 213 or so. Mattel gapped up and ran. Unlike Hasbro on Friday, it reported. I think it goes to the 1665 level or so. This one is potentially a 45-degree runner. And I did not check out. I'm going to do that right now. Okay. Shortsqueeze.com. One of my go-to websites. I'm going to check out short interest here in Mattel. Not showing anything there. Hasbro's 7%, so I would think they'd probably be on a par with one another. But I'd check to see if there was any short interest there. Let me check one more place. No, the short float's just not there. Microchip did a big gap up. After the earnings, you almost knew that with this breakaway gap that there was a novice breakaway. And the reason I say that is we were up so much in such a quick, short period of time that this right here was probably not going to hold. Yeah, and it kind of got up to the bottom of this area right here. We pulled back. I'm watching for a move above Friday's high, maybe even Thursday's high, for us to go higher. Another 30 to 45 degree runner would not be out of the question. Maybe up to mid 90s. Once you get up in the mid 90s, you've got that magnet going to take it all the way up towards the $100 level. Medco, again, I'm watching it. It has 25% of the float is short, and I'm looking for it to get from 25 and a half. So this is an early, longer term view, and for it to stair step its way up to around the 30s. Ross Stores earnings are on 3.5, which is a little bit of ways, but I'm looking for a breakout above 93 and a quarter, maybe a run up into earnings. Skechers reported on Friday could not hold the highs, but with high short interest, and I believe Skechers had more than 10%. Yeah, 9% of the float is short. Go ahead and mark that up. All right, that will contribute to any kind of rally you're going on. If it starts to go up here, we're going to get the shorts trying to cover. I think this 33 to 33 and a quarter area, that's why we pulled back. If we go to an area chart, can we go higher? Sure we can. We did a tumble here back in April of last year from about 40 to 30. We could possibly reverse that. And there's the big void. I'd be looking for that to run up to at least 38 or so. All right. Cisco, SYY. Looking for us to, it gapped up on earnings, pulled back. Nice little J-hook. And look for a retest of 67.75 and then potentially break out into the gap. TransUnion, TRU. This is a rounded bottom breakout. If you want to know more about that, I can give you a link in a minute. But basically, it's one where you're above the 50, below the 200, and you're coming, from a longer term downtrend. So over here, and you're rounding on the bottom, and you transition back to an uptrend, and now the play is towards the 200, or anywhere where I use the price like that, maybe 67 or so, somewhere in this target area right there for me. And the idea is to buy it on the breakout over the 50 and on a good recognizable pattern. The reason I'm not long it already was because of this congestion here. I want to see it break it. And the final long here is Texas Instruments. And sure enough, it did a rounded bottom breakout and it touched the 200. Now I'm looking for it to move into the 1-teens. All right, we got a 4 shorts here. I'm not a big one on shorts right now. Even though the markets are in a pullback mode, I don't believe that it's really conducive unless the stocks are on their own page. The trend is up. So I want to be looking for longs. Well, there are some that are going to buck that trend. And one of them right here is Beacon Roofing Supply. Huge bearish engulf / belt hold. On Friday, anything lower below about 33.75 or so could take this to short. I would love to see a bounce back up towards 35 to 35 and a half first. Probably on, say, the hourly chart, and move up to this level right in here and then short it. Big lots. Reports on the 8th. This one could be selling off into earnings. We've got the stochastics RSIs rolling over. So anything below about 30.75. And we could go down to any of these levels down in here. I just can't see it stopping here. This was a reversion to mean after the last dipped out on earnings. Kohl's also reports on the 5th. It looks like it's selling off into earnings. The first target would be around 63, and below that would be the lows here around 60. The last one I have here is C-SPAN, SSW, and the ideal place to have shorted it was already back here when it went down. It did a reversion of the mean, bounce to the 50, and then down again. We have a few levels here. It is a stock under $10. It may be hard for people to borrow. Probably the options are not going to be all that great either. So, but it is set up for a short. And it reports on February 26th, so a couple weeks out. All right, let's go back over to our slides. All right, this is the offer that I said I was going to make for you that I could not refuse. And that is a 30-day trial offer to the Top Gun Trading Room. You have access to all of our videos, including those that are just for members only. And for less than 50 cents a day, you can get in and get there and get the mentorship. You get to look over my shoulder, my charts. $14 for 30 days. Less than a steak dinner at one of the steakhouses. Okay, I am opening up. Right. I heard one, Malcolm, the Japanese fellow who came to America. Now, you guys have any questions that are not specific, go ahead and type them in. Okay, Chris. Yeah. The Japanese man came when he came back. He said, what were your highlights? Was it New York City and the flashing lights? Oh, no, not that. Las Vegas and all the gambling and shows? No, not that. Well, how about the natural beauty of the Grand Canyon or the West when the monuments and stuff like that? He said, no. See, well, what's it? What was the American game of ah shit? Yeah? You go out there, whoosh, ah shit, whoosh, ah shit. Anyway, let's bring out that rounded bottom breakout. No, it's just me. It's always been me. And there's someone that does some Top Gun something or other, but that's not me. Let's see. Go to YouTube. Let me find the rounded bottom breakout. I'll show you in just a second. Well, I'll be darned if I can find it right now, Chris. Said that I had it, and I didn't. Okay. Here we go. I found it. There's the link to the rounded bottom breakout by Rick Sadler. He tells you how to trade it. He does not have some charts in there, but basically the charts are. Let's see. Which one was a good one? Well, Texas Instrument was one back here, When it went down, kind of did a W and then broke up above the 50. Um, Beacon was. Um, Mattel was one, but it had jumped up on earnings. Okay. Let's go back and Jay. Sorry, I created that logo from borrowing bits and pieces of and putting together the logo myself. So if it's very, very similar to someone else's, I do apologize. Um, yeah, Malcolm, a nice walk ruined. D, what is my favorite short setup? Well, my favorite short setup is basically an inverted J hook. And we're not going to see a whole lot of them right now because the markets are not to that. We're looking for a move down, followed by a rebound, a bounce, and then a move back. Now, let's look and see what do we see. Coles was one, rolling over. Big Lots especially one, where it's rolling over at a resistance level. And Beacon is not. We just don't have a lot of those in the setups based upon where we have the markets at the moment. Okay. Z asked how the small account was going. In about 9 months, we made 42.8%, made $28,000 on a $65,000 account. Now, I originally started with 8. We were asked, I was asked to move to, by popular demand, move to trading stocks and options instead of futures. So we traded through the 1st of September with futures and we used a $6,500 account, $8,000 account, sorry, and then went to a $65,000 account and we've been trading there and we really haven't missed a lick. In fact, in the month of September and October, we've actually done a little bit better than we did before that. So, from a graphical perspective, you can see how June and July and August we didn't do so well here in on monthlies. We had pretty good months, but September was good. The first full month of going with stocks and options. October, November, December. November, December, whenever everybody else was complaining about the bad markets, we were still doing all right. So, yeah, I think we're doing well enough. Some of the members are trading. Right now, one of our members is trading Cron, C-R-O-N, almost every day, and she's doing quite well. She's, I think, only had one loss in that Cron trade on day trading. iRobot pulled quite a few, pulled $8 a share the other day on iRobot. Okay, all right. So let's go on back to. All right, we do have some time here, about 25 minutes or so. I will look at your stocks. I only want you to have one stock and one stock only. Tell me what you're looking long or short, and which way you're. Oh, Olga, I'm sorry, didn't answer the trading room hours from 9:15, normally 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning, and then selective afternoons. And let's get you the sign up. Okay, let's talk about. Here we go. All right, follow this link, and about a third or a quarter of the way down, you'll see the 30-day trial right here. Click on that link, it will take you out to a sign-up page. All right, and I'm willing to spend some one-on-one time for newbies that sign up to kind of help them get either their answers to questions. I would prefer that you make sure you look at the overview video first and whatever, but then I'll spend a little bit of one-on-one time with everybody and give you kind of a freebie 1 hour coaching or something like that. All right. All right. Square Bob S. Hey Bob, how are you? One of our members here. Square's going to report when? On the 27th. We made some money here on float, on Square, moving up to over 73. And then we sold. Thank goodness it took the profit before the big sell-off day. I have no idea what that was all about. I didn't see any news or anything like that. But I think, we're kind of marching up this 45-degree line, 30-degree line. Whoops. Oh boy, I'm too fast for the drawing machine. So we're basically going that. Are we going to do a run up into earnings the next couple of weeks? It's possible. I'm looking for at least probably a retest of this area around 78. Dave, ACB long. The cannabis stocks are hot right now. Canopy Growth, CGC, Tilray, which is not for the faint of heart. I would not suggest anybody trade that one, really. This one looks like it's in a move higher, but this $8 to $8.25. If you can get over $8.40, you got a pretty move to $10. The problem is, let's look at the EMA chart. It went up. It's been some time going back. The trend is up. So even though it's a bit ragged, the trend is up. So you hang loose. Give it some room to wiggle. It does wiggle quite a bit there, Dave. And it reports on the 11th, like somebody just posted out. Greg S. wants to look at Sun Long, S-U-N, Sunoco. I would not be going long Sunoco with your money or anybody's money. We were fine until we broke here. There was something that popped out news-wise, I'm almost positive. Whether it was an earnings warning or what, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it on TOS. It was in the and on the 5th of February. I do not see any news. The problem is it was right at about 2 weeks before the reporting. Reporting on the 20th. It dipped down on the 5th. That's about 2 weeks. That's about the time where the earnings are being finalized inside the corporation. And it's possible that somebody got wind of it, and that's when it started selling off. I wouldn't touch this until after earnings. And you've got to have some sort of bullish pattern. SP wants to look at Roku long. Made some money at Roku earlier before it went down. Now this one's transitioned from a downtrend to an uptrend by looking at the EMAs. I only look at the 3 and the 8 and the 17 exponentials. And that tells me and keeps me on the right side of the trade. The right side of the trade would be to look long here. That's good. The problem we've got now is resistance around 50 and again around high 50s, low 60s. Yeah, I don't see a pattern other than the fact that it's trying to grind higher. If I ignore that spike there, there's the daily, the hourly. There's a 2-hour chart. Could we go back to 50.10? I guess. Then we'll get back to the gap down. The target here is really 51.25, this gap down, top of this gap down. Then it's going to take some while to get over it. Balance of power, which is the proprietary Warden indicator, it really tries to tell you where the big guys are buying or not. They started buying back in here in anticipation. I believe this was maybe some news, an upgrade or what, I don't know. But it doesn't look half bad. Sal wants my thoughts on T. I'm not a big fan of the telecoms, either Verizon nor T. Let me show you the area charts on those. These are, dividend plays and whatever, but they don't really have high dividends. We got 4 point something in Verizon, 6.75, but you're in a perennial downtrend here on AT&T. I don't like that. I'd rather get in myself if I were going after a dividend play. It was maybe a good what do they call them? Sorry, I'm having a senior moment at the moment, but trying to not to sneeze. Business Development Company, a BDC. Maine, it's a good one here. It pays 6%. And if you look at the area, we did have this big dip here, but that was in the scare that everybody was going to, that we're going to go into a recession, but it's proven not necessarily to be the case. FSCT, Internet of Things. No, FSCT. Scout. Well, it had a darn good move on Friday. I'd probably, the problem with going long on something like this, it looks pretty good, is where's the stop? Stop is under 33. You're talking about $3 or $4. And assuming we go up to there, that's $4 up. So you got a 1-to-1 ratio. No, make it, I'm assuming right now that we're talking on the dailies and they could be played intraday similar to that. Make it go sideways, make it establish some sort of floor. Then you can have a much tighter stop, maybe $1. Then that $4 becomes risk 1 to get 4, risk 1 to get 3. That's what I'd prefer to do. Okay, Chris wants to look at GE Long. Well, this here is a rounded bottom breakout. Or it went down, and they transitioned right here when the 8 went above the 17. We got above the 50. This is the rounded bottom breakout. The breakout occurred on the break above consolidation, and now it came back to retest that. I would only go long if it got back above 10. Give some sort of bullish candle, bullish pattern. Can it come all the way back here to this 9.25 to 950 level and still be bullish? Yes. Especially if we want to look at the weekly chart. You know, we can come back into this 950 level and we're still fairly bullish on the weekly. Okay. Vimal wants to look at PayPal, PYPL. PayPal's a hard one to read here. It has a lot of wicks, which probably means it's a bit spready and or whippy or both. This one's kind of in no man's land. There's the swing. There's kind of the swing at the bottom. It's halfway between. I really don't like it. And Richard is looking at Cron. Now, Cron is another one of those that is not for the faint of heart. It moves $2.21 a day, 11% of its price. 11%. That is quite a lot. And as you can tell, it goes up and down. It does trade quite well. This is a day trader stock. And if you're not really adept at day trading, this one you could lose your shirt in a heartbeat. This one is setting up for a possible Eiffel Tower. Now the Eiffel Tower is one that looks like that. Let me try this again. Like that, where it goes ballistic. It's like an airplane standing on its tail, running out of airspeed and flip-flopping and going back down. So, what's the possibility that I see here? I mean, a possibility is that we went like this, and then we're a little bit ragged, but we'll end up going back like this. Now, in the interim, it could be like Bitcoin and bounce all over the place. Tilray. See how that did one back here? That's another one of the pot stocks. CGC. Yeah, this one isn't as bad. I think it has a lot more backing to it. Financial clout. It went up and then it went sideways and then it pulled back. Where did it pull back to? It did 100% retracement. They did another one run up right here. Okay, 1 second. All right, I did not want to cough in your ears. Excuse me. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to suppress it. Okay, so the pot stocks are good day traders, but they're also unforgiving. Let's put it that way. Dixie wants to look at EPZM, Echo Papa Zulu Mike. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Biotech, 5% a day, 600,000. Now this one did a perfect J-hook. This is classic here. It went up, pulled back. I'm not going to guess that's about 25%. And where could we go to? Well, this $12, probably somewhere in this $13 level. Let me do the poor bands. I'll do the quad lines. Yep, on that pullback. Whoops, nope. Sorry. It did about 25% pullback on that move up. According to traditional play, this move right here and this move right here would be called a measured move. They'd be the same. I'm thinking they're probably not going to be because this one was too much. Maybe from here to here. That was about 650 to 10. Excuse me, It's about $4 on top of 9 would be 13. Sorry. Oh, the most I've talked in a while. All right, David B wants to look at Watt. Now, this one kind of did a V bottom. I would have said a cup and handle, except it didn't break out above 8. 730,000 shares, that's okay. I just really don't see it. It is a rounded bottom breakout. From here to the 200 is about 55%. But along the way, you're going to have resistant pockets of resistance here in the 8s, maybe the $10 levels. So my target would probably be more like 10. We did a spike up here on volume. If I can go back far enough on an hourly. This 8.78 to $9 is going to get retested, just a matter of time. Now, I don't know what they do from a fundamental perspective. Probably doesn't matter. There was some reason it went from a downtrend to reversal. Yeah, I'm going to say that it probably does something with maybe autos or something like that. I don't know. Okay. Chris B asks, is BOP more meaningful if all the way up to 100? I am not a total expert on the use of BOP. All I use it as a tertiary, that if the balance of power is green and it's up here around this 100 or whatever, that it's green versus a yellow color or whatever, that it's positive. So it's really kind of relative. This means that we had a huge change, a sea change that happened. We went from kind of neutral to negative, and then suddenly we get this big price reversal. You're going to expect that. It's just confirming it, that's all. Roger A wants to look at ACAD, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down no more signals, please. No more symbols. Okay. ACAD long. I'll assume you're not in yet. Again, we're doing a pullback. We got up here to resistance and did a pullback. Is this going to be a double top, triple top? I don't know. Problem is, it needs to stop pretty soon, and you don't go long until you see a positive reaction. Probably a break above 2240, 2250. If you're already long and you got profits, you may want to take some off the table at a minimum, if not exit stage right. Because this is about ready to change. The EMAs are rolling over, and I have a 3 exponential. And you can see, right, it's rolled over and crunching through the 8 is going to drag the 8 lower. So, in my mind, this one has the potential, unless it stops right now, of changing from an uptrend to at least neutral or downtrend. And Walter wants to look at Starbucks. Starbucks was kind of in no man's land for quite some time there. And now it's rocking and rolling again. Let's look at a 2-day, 3-day chart, I mean. Boom. The problem is how to get back on board with Starbucks. There's a couple of ways of playing it. One thing that's negative here is the balance of power is negative. But that doesn't mean anything. It just means it's out of favor. Well, price is king, okay? The problem we've got here is, where would the stop be? Now, one of the ways to do it is play by options, and that'll define your risk. You can never lose as much as you got in the trade. It moves more than that. The other one is to buy a portion, maybe half of what you would normally do, or a third, or something like that. And then if it pulls back, you would add to it, assuming it does a pullback and curl back up. But I'm not much of a fan of those. The others just wait for the pullback and be patient. And that's what I normally do. Okay. Malcolm cautions us there. MO. Yeah, I think Altria is talking about. I think I heard somebody is being sued by some of the states on not keeping the vape and stuff out of teenagers' hands and that kind of stuff. What kind of time frame do I look for at day trades? Well, I look on the charts and I look to see good daily charts. What I like to do is I like to go back and look at deck, did its gap up, and on a gap up I looked for an entry with high short interest. So it did a gap up there. It gapped up over this 137 level. I kept this on my watch list. I saw it pop up on the live trading alerts that we have here, another program. And on Friday, was it Friday? Or no, it was probably Wednesday. Yes. Friday it popped up. There's Thursday. Yeah, Thursday the 7th. It gapped down lower. Then I saw it move, and it moved above 141. And we did a quick trade here from 141 to 142 and a half. So what I try to look for normally is stocks that are moving, stocks that had good setups. In this case, I don't look at anything to the right. I was looking at 141 on the daily. 141 was what it was trying to break above. That's what I was looking at. And it moved higher. Now it did close back down, but I traded it from this 141 up to about 142 and a half, and then got out. So what do I look for? I look for intraday J hooks. Okay, let's. What was the other? I'm going to go back to my notes here real quick. We traded SYY the other day on its earnings. On the 4th. Good Lord, I went too far back. All right, 4th of February. Let's look at, I'm going to see if a 5-minute chart, if I could get it. At the 8th. Well, why don't I just pick it up as an example? What I like to see on a stock is a move up to, I'm just too fast on the trigger. Here's a break up above the a resistance level around 65 and a quarter. It went sideways. Go long on that breakout with the stop just below there. You got a really tight stop, probably about 30 cents. You're looking for plus 60 cents for the first target. And with 30 cents, I'd probably have 400 shares or more. I'd take 200 off here at 2 times risk. Take another third off there, another 100. And now you're playing with house money most definitely. And you could probably give it a chance and to wiggle a little bit. Take it on a 15-minute chart, transition, boom, up, boom, up, boom, up, up. And you'd still be in long on that last half unless you got knocked out here. Now, the little red and green dots, they're the volatility stops. Those are, I guess, recommended or notional stop levels. I myself use them as only as recommendations and suggestions, and I use my own. If I were in that last 100 shares, I either sell it when I get down below, say something like 65.80 or so, or I'd give it a lot of room and make it close below the 8 exponential. That's only on a 15-minute chart. There's a 30-minute chart going. And SYY, Cisco, the food supplier, they're going to go back up here and retest to 67. Did that answer your question, SP? Yes, Chris, it's based upon institutional buying. It's a proprietary indicator. They won't tell us much about it. So I don't want to speculate. You sound even worse, oh, Connie. All right. James M., I'm going to go ahead and give you a snap in here real quick. Snap reported just the other day. Where did it gap up to and have trouble with? This pocket of resistance here, right around $9. Gets above that $9. Where does it go to? 10. It's about 11 or 12%. This is a candidate for that 45-degree runner from here, and it's doing it. Where it stops, I don't know. Now, Snap, let's look at shortsqueeze.com under Snap to see if it has high short interest. Oh, yes, it does, 17.7%. Thank you. All right. Okay, folks, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys coming by, and hope you guys have a great week. Consider signing up for our 30-day trial, only $14. All right, you guys have a good one. Take care. Aloha. Thank you.